It's kinda like
Well,
a
I got a
meat-
couple of backers on my campaign last night. I went on Mad
Okay.
Ruth's. And
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just keep it going.
oh, okay, we are live. No,
Welcome,
you just
everybody.
kinda subvert
Oh,
me.
oh, we are live. Okay.
Yes. We don't do fanfare here. We just get right to it.
I like it. Cold open. We
Yeah.
started a conversation with comics are dying.
Dying.
Well, I
But
mean,
then
some people think that it's shrinking, it's niche,
Mhm.
and I get
Oh
it.
yeah, on a couple different levels they
Yeah.
are, but for
Yeah.
independents like us, that's actually creating a new pond for us to swim in. That's creating a niche,
Well, Fortunately,
niche
we still have
for
legends
us to
in the
take.
field that know how to
Mhm.
do it.
Nietzsche.
And
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
for sure,
I
for sure.
think, I think we always will. But we have to
Yeah,
pass
yeah.
on the torch to another generation.
Yeah, the ocean didn't dry up. I mean, it's but a lot of the
Yeah.
things pulling back are actually creating some room to breathe for a lot of independent guys like us to actually grow and gain fans from areas that we normally would not have if stores and everything on the internet was actually kind of glutting the market. You can only buy but so much stuff every month. So
You
if you
want
want to take a
niche,
chance on
then
something
just
new.
book burn all the comics, make them illegal where no one has them to reference.
He went straight to
As
book
long-
burning.
as
long-
I don't mean to get political or anything, but
Well, I'm saying it happened
Bumps up-
back in the
bumps of
McCarthy
rarity.
era in the
Uh-huh.
50s
uh-huh.
with the EC books
Yeah.
and some of the other comics. I'm
Yeah,
sure
well,
there were a few Superman and Batman's burned.
Yeah. Well, I think nowadays, I think the market just decides. Like no matter what you do, the market is going to decide with their wallet what's going to live and what's going to kind of pass on. So it happens on its own. You really don't have
I'm
to.
just saying
be
you would
proactive.
probably have to eradicate the comic from the public consciousness for it to truly dry up, as you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? That would take.
Yeah.
That would take
As long
something-
as we can get
something
back
crazy.
issues, I think we're going to be good because people are going to discover that and go, man, this is awesome. It's going to open up new universes,
but you know what?
new galaxies, new vistas for people.
Mhm.
That's
But
what
as long as
comics did
there's-
to me. I mean,
yeah.
it made me a reader.
Uh-huh.
I needed
Yeah, as
that
long as there's
visual stimulus.
Yeah, as long as there's
It was
kids
a
in
step
school
up from the
that
stone
draw
tablets
and
I was reading.
fantasize. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before I even realized there was a comic book market, I was a kid that would draw comic strips for my friends,
Yeah.
no matter what. So I was doing this whether or not I was making money at it or not. It's
I think most kids start in comics with a thing they call, and Mel know about this, cartoons.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
I experienced Johnny Quest, Space Ghost, Herculoids, all those
Mhm.
before I ever picked up a comic, unless it was like in the newspaper, which is
Right,
kind of
right.
gone now, the daily strips.
Yeah, I kind of
which
missed that. I
would
kind of
read
missed looking forward to a Sunday paper,
Prince
Not that I
Valiant,
ever read it. I never read the Sunday paper, but I always pulled out the comics from the Sunday
comic
paper.
strip, right?
That's
You're
it.
not going to be
Right,
reading,
right,
oh,
right.
Nixon impeached. Okay. There might have been a few kids like that, but I wasn't one of them. Although I was very interested in what was on TV, and it was
Mhm.
TV's always my whole life has been. I'm 58, has been
Right, right.
politically charged with something. In my day, it was like the impeachment of Nixon, and before that, it was the Vietnam War.
Right.
Presidency involved.
Yeah,
in
I'm not too far behind you. I'm a spry 54 right now, so I'm
Yeah.
catching up to you.
that.
But I was never really political. I was more worried about the whatever new Batman or Star Trek show that was coming out. We did grow up in a different time, though. I mean, this is when it was.
when they broadcast things and it was gone. There was no.
Oh,
replay.
dude, yeah. If you missed the show, you missed it. I mean, it's like
You missed it, right?
You're gonna have to wait until you're 54 until you have access to this stuff again,
Or at
It's
least the summer where they kind of lube some of the more popular ones.
Dude, if they had a replay or if they actually had something that was like syndication was like, wow, they're going to show it again. I have another chance. And I missed that
Maybe
episode of
I
Knight
Love
Rider.
Lucy, something that was massively Desi Lou probably did the most of it. I mean,
Right,
gave Star Trek 2 pilots. They were a little bit more innovative, I think.
Oh, she saved Star Trek.
Yeah.
Lucy saved Star Trek. Yes.
Back in the early
Star Trek.
50s, Lucille Ball was, or I Love Lucy was so popular. There were stores that actually shut down at night and said, "We love Lucy too." And
well, like you said, if you missed the episode, there's no reruns. You missed the episode. That's it.
That's right. I mean,
could you imagine Ricky Ricardo coming in? Lucy, what did you do now? I said Star Trek, Ricky.
Yeah, launch of torpedoes.
Torpedoes.
It really was kind of like
these Klingons have some splaining to do,
especially like that Romulan.
Bongos.
It was kind of like a submarine, wasn't it? Where they were like search and destroy.
Oh yeah, that was definitely what they were going for. It was submarine warfare. He was in space. That's the whole point. That's why I tried to get my dad to watch Star Trek a little bit. He's not into space stuff at all, but I was just like, look, it's like the Navy.
And Gene Roddenberry's still laughing in his grave. He sold it to him as a Western wagon train in space.
Yeah.
Not too far off though. Yeah,
not
still
too
the
far
same.
off with the phasers and stuff. Yeah. But the executives were like, "What?" They never got it.
Yeah, the bad cowboy is just a green Gorn. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what a bigger cowboy hat or a green suit. Either way, it's good.
It's amazing. I guess Star Trek was kind of made for TV, so that's kind of maybe stunted its popularity with some folks. It is a hopeful Gene Roddenberry, a utopian future, right? But
yeah, for sure.
Star Wars is like Buster Crabbe, movie serial stuff.
Right. Yeah, Star Wars is fantasy epic. I mean, you don't have a whole planet that's snow and a whole planet that's desert.
Right.
So it's fantasy epic. It's about themes, and it's about where Star Trek is more literally science fiction. They try to give you something plausible to kind of ground it. No pun intended, to ground something that's not on the ground, but still, it's
I think that's
more science fiction than.
Two big difference there, because you actually had people like Harlan Ellison and other science fiction writers writing for that, even when it went in the early 70s to Filmation. A lot of those writers came back and wrote it, and it was the only Emmy that they won on TV.
Now you can imagine you can imagine building up your actual real world to someday be Star Trek, but Star Wars was always space wizards and laser swords. It's like that's all. Which that's what made it fun. It's like having a dogfight in space made no damn sense, but it's awesome.
They changed all the environments, which was great, because every movie was different. Let's go to the forest planet. Let's go to the tropical planet. Let's go to the frozen planet.
The biggest surprise
about run out of different planets.
You do. But I mean, the biggest surprise about Star Trek is something they didn't see coming back then. I mean, when you're working on something in the moment, you don't see 30 years ahead. They had no idea that we were going to have 4K TVs. So, for the resolution that the TV was, you couldn't really see all of the. It's like now you can see the stuff is held together with duct tape. You can actually tell that it's foam. You can actually tell that, it's like all the little mistakes or whatever on set, or continuity things, so you couldn't see that stuff on the TV that I owned in the 70s,
in the 60s.
It was perfect,
I was very young in the 60s. Let's get that straight.
Okay. That's very, okay.
Born in 65, but my memory goes back to past, to like one. This thing called TV captured my attention. That was my window to the world, since I'm out in the boondocks, and we were lucky to have a TV with rabbit ears and go change the channel. You didn't do this. You got up and you changed the channel.
Oh yeah, I was the remote. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I was the remote.
I don't think my brain came online until I was probably 5.
Hey, smoking.
I don't have any memories before 4 or 5 years old. I actually went to it wasn't a comic book convention.
I don't know why I do. I just do.
Yeah.
And
one of my earliest
remember
memories.
the 60s as being, I got a flavor of the 60s. You know, you want to go to California, that was the place to be.
Right.
You can look at TV and tell that, you know, the monkeys were set out there. Lancelot Lee, it might have been set out there, but I remember, you know, the Beverly Hillbillies, they were set out there.
Sure.
It was the place to be, you know. And
I remember in like 75, my dad took me and like the neighbor's kid to a car show. This was, it was just a car show. I was born in New York City. So there's this car show in the middle of the city, whatever. They had this place. And technically that was my first Comic-Con. It wasn't really a comic book convention. It was a car show specifically. But Adam West and Burt Ward were there with the Batmobile. And I was 5 years old, right? And that's back when television personalities or movie stars actually showed up to a show dressed up as their character. So they were there as Batman and Robin in character. Yeah, that was a treat.
Cosplay even. Yeah.
Oh, dude, they were wearing their television grade.
That was
outfits.
the dead years for them too. That was kind of like Star Trek. They went through a period where they were out of the public consciousness, but there were the fans. And the conventions kind of kept that alive for them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And then with Adam West, he was typecast. I don't know that he did much work after that. Although
they did a live show. Yeah, they would do a live show. Like they would do a traveling live show, like a Batman show. Yeah.
I was reminded, you know, in Emergency, he was a guy chased by a bear. Episode.
Wow.
They had to escape a bear.
You got to pay the rent. That's the bottom line. It's like my credit on that film, man chased by a bear.
He was a much better actor than what people give him. You know, he was in a show right before Batman, a movie that was sci-fi, sort of hokey sci-fi, but it was Mr. Robertson Goes to Mars.
Oh,
yeah,
you've never seen
something
that.
I never
That's
saw.
Part
yeah,
of the Crittenden,
never heard of it.
Collection.
Yeah, he would have made like a good James Bond kind of character or something like that. You know, there's a lot of things that he could have done if there was opportunities. Yeah.
Hey there, TJ.
It was in an old Outer Limits episode where that creature on that one planet, where the creature went underneath the sand and started.
Again, though, that's pre-Batman.
That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Yeah. A lot of things like that were pre-Batman. Yeah,
that he was
that's
in
black
after
and white
Batman.
Yeah,
I know he did a few things, you know, but he was kind of typecast with Batman.
Yeah, he was.
Partially because of me. It's all my fault.
But there's
he's only Batman to me.
There's few TV shows. It was things like that and the Monsters and. You know, some of the 60s, mid 60s hits, or even early, you know, Lost in Space, where they started merchandising and you had lunch boxes and all kinds of stuff, you had that with Superman within like a year or two after the launch of Action Comics #1. It was meteoric. You know, you had Superman everything there for a while in the 30s. Like
I told you, man, you look like an album cover. I'm telling you, man, it looks awesome. You got to keep that up. You got to keep that up. That's actually a cool look. That's a cool look.
I'm waiting for the solo.
Actually, I ripped it off from
it's that Meet the Beatles
another
look.
YouTuber. There was a YouTuber, Rotten Glory, who he fell off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to him. If you guys know him, and he would have this look all the time, and he hasn't been heard from in like 2 years. So I figured
it's like an homage.
Take up the mantle. Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Yeah.
I just wanted to sing Everybody Wants to Sing.
It'd be kind of cool if you just had a single microphone hanging from off screen just right there. That'd
even
be dope.
If it was a fake one.
That'd be super dope.
Hey, Bone.
Hey, Bone. Hopefully you have the weekend off from work.
HEX and Bill X.
Very arty Hex. They would have called me Hick. Winnie the Pooh doesn't really count as a bear.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned you mentioned Winnie the Pooh, and we were talking about our earliest memories.
I think
Winnie the Pooh, watching Winnie the Pooh on TV was when I was 3 years old. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that. And I also remember while we were watching it in our family room on the big giant wooden cabinet television set.
Oh, sure.
There a mouse ran across the floor in front of the TV, and then my mom started freaking out. And I think it's like one of my first memories.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. I remember those
something out of
episodes.
the
Yeah.
ordinary
I
like
remember those
that
specials.
sometimes captures your imagination with your memory. I talked to my grandmother that lived to be 95, and you know, because I made the statement. I said, I think I'm living in the best of times, you know, and I started listing the things that we had developed. And she said, well, I think I listen, you know, because I got to see radio come in, TV, cars.
Yeah,
and,
no, it's
and she said my
that's
first
cool.
memory was when I was 2 years old, and they were still doing the kerosene lamps, and the fire started. Her father, they were sitting at the kitchen table, and the fire started going down the wick toward the oil, and her father grabbed grabbed it and threw it out the front door, and it blew up, and that was her first memory, she said.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah.
My first memory was a heist.
An explosion.
I know, right?
I ran into this my third cousin on the playground, and had to have 3 stitches in my chin, so I had a scar here. And my mother my grandmother had a scar there, and I said she got kicked by a mule and was like knocked out for like 3 days though.
Wow.
Woo.
She's lucky to be alive, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that from my grandparents' days. My grandfather, my abuelo in Puerto Rico, he lived to be 103, I think. And he's just got stories. I mean, you see pictures. It's my mom's side of the family. We all come from is an island off the coast of Puerto Rico called Culebra. And that island, like the earliest pictures that the family has of that island is just basically one dirt road and a bunch of shacks. They look like homemade shacks. It looked like it was put together with staples. I mean, it was crazy. And now it's a full-fledged modern. Even when I was visiting as a kid, it was modern.
I often think about the Western pioneers. I think in the zeitgeist of the mind of Americans, how popular the Western was for like 20 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
And these things cycle around. In the 70s, the Western was don't touch it because it's been done to death. It started to come back a little in the early 80s with Silverado. Everybody lauded that movie, and then slowly but surely we got, like in the early 90s, we got other things like Tombstone. And there were other things.
Unforgiven. I mean,
I think the Western in the 70s was primarily, and maybe some of the 80s was relegated to the TV. You know, you had the
and there was a lot of it, so if there's a lot of anything at one point, people might start shying away from it, but it doesn't kill it. It doesn't go away. It's just
amazing to me. At one time, the top 20 shows in America were all Westerns.
Oh, I believe
it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
Gunsmoke ran for like 20 years. Bonanza ran for, I think, 16 seasons. It's amazing.
It's just like they say there's superhero fatigue right now. It's just like there's not superhero fatigue. There's bad movie fatigue.
There's bad movie fatigue.
But if they make a good superhero movie, there's always going to be superhero movies. It's been a genre since before I was around. It's like the Adam West, they were badly done back then. But it was a genre.
You could make the argument that Star Wars is a superhero movie. I'm just saying.
It's more of a space western. Yeah, space western with wizards.
I get it. I don't get pushback on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's friendly pushback.
You're not gonna see Luke Skywalker wearing a red cape. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Maybe seeing Princess Leia fly through space. That's probably the one thing
we saw that
superhero-ish. That was probably too far.
That was way too far.
That was more like Mary Poppins.
Nothing built up to that. I mean, just all of a sudden she could just do that.
Fly in space.
But that's a bad writing fatigue. That's not Star Wars fatigue.
It is right when you just do something out of the blue.
Yeah, it can't be out of the blue. And you can't take. And I'm surprised that they're surprised that they would take characters that are like so embedded into the consciousness. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and then with those specific characters, the way that they actually played them off as like, really? That's the way you're going to write them off? That's the way you're going to kill them off? It's like,
well, I mean, the third
it makes
movie,
no sense.
it was like,
it-
oh, here's the connection. They're brother and sister. And yes, she's, might have some force, but then it's like, I think the, kind of cream puffy looking Princess Leia, which is like royalty, right? If you're called princess, we don't really want to see her as an action star. She was eye candy.
Well, you know what? I like seeing her strong.
Out, and all of a sudden she's a Jedi.
I didn't. Her flying through space was too much of a jump. That was like, because nobody's ever done that before, like with the Force, or it's like that was too much of a jump. But her being a strong, because she showed off her strength when she basically killed Jabba the Hutt herself. She didn't get rescued. She killed that bad boy herself with his own chain. And her becoming a general and becoming a leader, that all felt natural. That all felt like it was earned.
But see, that's going against type, against like ethereal, philosophical Jedi, as opposed to a strong leader.
But that's what made her
reality.
Pop. Yeah, that's what made her pop to the audience, is that seeing somebody go from like a delicate princess to someone who's like escaping a mobster's dungeon to becoming a general. That's like, wow, that's
freezing spice. I always thought you imploded. Boom, 2 seconds. Boom.
I don't know. Different films, different films treat space different ways. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, that too, like a force field, or literally.
Like,
no pun intended.
Now you're a Jedi. Now you're a Jedi.
I know. Yeah. It was too. It was just too much too fast.
I would like to see where the frantic captain is going, extend the force shield, extend the force, and they can't do it because the damage is too great. And they just kind of drift out the force field, and boom! I want to see it. It's like, I want to see total. I want to see an Aquaman story set in black. There is no light once you go down below a certain point. I saw a thing recently.
Yeah, but they got special eyes. They got special eyes.
Different colors.
See, that's right.
And they slowly take you down from 0 to way deep, and it just shows you how light reacts, how it changes the color the deeper it goes, of these different colors. Yeah,
they should have dealt with that a little bit more, instead of just being like, oh, they're just there and you can just see.
City. Right.
I get it. We want to see everything. It's comic book logic, but I'm still struggling with. I would like to do it more realistic. Like
he was supposed to be Lobo in the first place, so they should just scrap all that anyway. And as far as I know, there's still that rumor that he's going to be playing Lobo in the new DCU. So we'll see.
Lobo was the gayest character in Omega Man 3. If you look at his orange and purple,
it was.
He was the gayest looking character at the time.
So we got
I didn't spot him in that one. I didn't spot him there. So.
Yeah, that's his first appearance, and he was
It looked
not the Lobo of today. He wasn't the badass of today. He was a bounty hunter. So
dig up his old streams.
It was like he was like Sherlock Holmes and Watson. He had a sidekick, another.
Well, I'm sure if they cast him as Lobo, they'll go ahead and start with the badass. They're not going to start with.
No, it's orange.
No, they'd like to write that out of history.
Yeah, there was an interview that he did a while back where he sat down and he was talking about when he got cast as Aquaman. And when he said he went into the office to do the reading or talk to the executives or whatever, he literally thought he was being cast as Lobo back then. And then they cast him as Aquaman, and he's like, "Cool, I'll take it." It's like awesome.
All right.
I know, what are you going to do? Yeah, they offer you a $1 billion franchise. You're going to say no. I'd rather be Lobo. It's like
Lobo.
But maybe it'll work out this time. So
I just watched the new Aquaman movie.
There's
something wrong with me because I didn't think it was so bad. I mean, it was just a fun. It was really dumb. There were a lot of dumb lines, and some of the logic but it was just it was a ride. It was
Well, shoot, I
didn't pay for it though. That's
the thing. That's what allowed you to enjoy it a little bit. And plus, if you go into it with low expectations, it's like, let's just have fun and watch a movie and see what happens.
And they
instead of
almost
investing so much.
almost had a white Aquaman, white blonde Aquaman, almost.
Mhm.
You know, the brother, Patrick, what's his name?
Patrick Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he'd be the perfect Aquaman.
You
He
know.
would be.
Well, shoot,
Yeah.
I watched the Marvels. So I'm used to watching a lot of movies. I'm a single dad. I grew up. I raised my daughter since she was 2, right? So
Okay.
she's 26 now. So a lot of movies under my belt with this kid, right?
Wow.
So I know how to watch a movie and enjoy it. That's a movie that is not a bad movie, because I think her and I would both agree if a movie was bad, we'll just walk away.
Right.
But if a movie is not meant for me, I could still sit down and enjoy it because I know she's enjoying it, and I could pick out the things from it that I like, right? And I think the Marvels was kind of like that. I don't think it wasn't a fantastic movie, and it definitely wasn't written the way I would have liked it
because
to have been written.
I'm over
It was written-
40.
it was
I'm
written-
white, and it wasn't made for me.
Right,
So
exactly.
I
It was
couldn't watch
made for a different audience.
Yeah.
And then they get mad because my demographic didn't, support it. I'm just like, well, it wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me for not going to your movie. It's like to support it. And not enough people that were in that demographics did support the movie. So
Right.
that's on their marketing structure.
Yeah.
That's not on me.
There's been
Not
a lot
enough
of
chaperones.
people falsely arrested in the United States, Canada. We were talking about that a little bit on Math Rude, and we want to kind of put those things out of the private consciousness, and I know I do, but it's like, any dissension whatsoever cannot be tolerated, and they will squash you in some instances if they're really married to it, Even in entertainment, they beat up on you for not watching their movie. How trivial is that?
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not a
your
life
fault.
or death thing.
But their plan didn't work, though, because everybody speaks with their wallets.
That's
So,
right.
so you really don't have to hold up a picket sign. You don't have to go out there and protest. You just have to not support the things you don't like, and they'll eventually go away. It's not very difficult.
Well, I was seeing a scene in Flash Gordon, to get back to the Aquaman thing before we play your trailer.
Gotcha.
I really think they based Aquaman off an Olympic swimmer, Buster Crabbe, because in Flash Gordon Goes to Mars, you can see him dressed kind of like Aquaman, and I think that's where they got it from. He's blonde haired. He was an Olympic swimmer. He had that swimming body.
Yeah.
I really think that's where they
Flash
got the
Gordons were fun. I
archetype
remember
for
those.
Aquaman. Maybe even a little Johnny Weissmuller, because he was an Olympic swimmer as well.
Yeah.
And that was big back in the 30s. That big sports stars for the very first time.
Sure.
Not that they hadn't been around, but they started getting into public consciousness more with print media and the very, very first television and radio more than anything.
Oh yeah, they got sports into the consciousness of people who don't follow sports.
Yeah,
like I know a lot about sports, and I don't
of suggestion. Yes, show don't tell.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
But also, I think suggestion, because it is theater of your mind. If you're using your imagination, that's what I think we've lost, and what comics opened up for me was being able to use my creativity and channel it.
That's why you have to use your imagination to see this trailer.
Yes.
It's playing right now.
It's really hard.
You got to use it.
It's playing right now, and avoid.
Please be kind to my cinematography.
No, I'm gonna heckle the hell out of it.
The world is flat.
The conspiracies.
What? It's
that 80s techno music.
That's not black.
Black. You had to say it like Joe Pesci. Black.
Yeah. Here's the music video. German expressionism.
See, that's why I wanted you to keep the black and white look on you. That's the album cover. You're the album cover for this song.
With a name like MAUS,
there you go.
You know, you probably should throw some
X
German
welcome to
expressionism in
Sprockets.
You know what's funny is that my last name is Mouse, but I'm actually Irish and Puerto Rican.
there. Hey,
So
creators
you,
out.
Wow.
you figure me out. I don't know what's going on.
What a weirdo.
I know. I actually thought I was German. I thought I was German descent for the longest time, and we did a little bit of that me 23 you and me skidoo, whatever that test is, and turns out I'm a whole lot of Irish. So that explains why I like Lucky Charms, and I already knew I was Puerto Rican.
Green
So-
Bear.
Your holiday is coming up here pretty soon.
St. Patrick-
Yeah, it is. It is.
My
Yeah.
birthday's before St. Patrick's Day, so it's
Americans.
Oh, that's
Right.
cool. That works
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Apex, you can have all the green beer you can, you know. You want.
Good. Absolutely.
Hey, Will.
So it made over
Peter's outlet.
$9,000 and 177 backers.
Yeah,
And guys,
yeah.
check out this campaign. It looks really good. Over on
Nira
Kickstarter.
X.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on too, so that way we can kind of share it and stuff.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah,
now
that helps
you've
out a lot.
you've been around a while, at least since the 90s, right? Doing comics.
Yeah. Actually, I think my first real gig in comics was back in 91, 92. I did a parody for Eclipse Comics called X Farce.
Yes.
That's farce.
And,
Right.
Yeah, I think and that was my very first job. I was a penciler on that gig, and I think we ended up selling I think it was 80,000 copies, something like that.
That's you
That
and Don
was-
Chin, right?
Don Chin was the writer. That's where I met him. That's where I met
Yeah.
Don. And then after that, Don and I co-founded Parody Press, and we did Parody Press for almost a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we ended up co-founding Entity Comics, and then
Okay.
with
Oh, wow.
Entity Comics, our very first title
Hey,
for
Don.
Entity Comics was Zen Intergalactic Ninja, and that's where Nira X made her first appearance. That was in '93.
You did Sea Dragon?
Sea Dragon? No.
No. Was there
No.
Sea Dragon Entity?
No,
Comics?
Sea
I
Dragon
thought
was
they-
that was a Texas comic company back in the 80s.
okay.
Sea Dragon
Same
name? No, Elite Comics.
Elite Comics.
Yeah,
okay.
there's
That's what-
Elite.
Okay.
Sometimes we get confused with Elite, or sometimes we get confused with Eternity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of like mix up. They sound alike and all that, so it's easy.
Yeah,
to mix
Now,
up.
Epsilon Waves
what did
was published.
Eternity do? What were their
Eternity.
titles?
Don't remember. off the
That
top
was
of
a
my
Rick
head.
Hoberg title. I forget
There
what
you go, yeah.
character it was. It was a
Mhm.
galactic character. I can't
Mhm.
remember his name offhand. That was
But
one
yeah,
of
and Entity Comics was their thing, or our thing was actually publishing creator-owned titles. So there was a handful of titles that were my own titles, and those stayed with Entity. And then there were all the other titles that we did, other than things that we licensed. Like, for instance, we actually made the very first licensed Stargate comics. It was like
wow.
that they allowed other people to make their comics.
Mhm.
So I was happy to work on that. That was a lot of fun.
Well, I know Nira X. I've got some of the back issues goes back.
Awesome.
When
I do
did she
too.
first make her appearance, though?
Her first appearance was in '93. It was actually
Okay.
in the back of Zen Intergalactic Ninja number 0.
Wow.
I needed to have a bounty
I have that
hunting
one.
mercenary character pop in to help Zen with this particular adventure.
Well, you know,
And,
Ninja
so I
Turtles
created her
and
for that.
Zen both crossed over into Archie. You didn't cross over into Archie, did you?
No, Archie was right before we started. But when Zen finished his run at Archie, that's when Zen came over to Entity Comics.
all right. Yeah.
And then they allowed me, the co-creators of Zen actually gave me a lot of space, because you remember how Zen used to look in the Archie series. It was really geared for kids. It was really geared for a younger crowd, like a Captain Planet kind of crowd.
Right.
And Zen had a big head and a little body, and it was kid friendly.
Oh,
and I wanted it to be kind of like a teen and up book, kind of like an Image Comics demographic. It's like something that's a little bit more in my Spider-Man demographic.
Well, they just ran a art by Garcia Lopez, not the DC Garcia Lopez, but he did the artwork for the one that was over on Kickstarter that's fulfilling right now. Very nice book.
Very cool. Very cool.
He's got that.
Are you talking about the Zen book they just finished up? Are you talking about that?
Yeah, the one that they just finished up.
Joel, he goes by Lamar Supreme. That was a book that he drew back. I want to say back in the mid '90s. And the
coloring was what got me. That very black light reactive like cover that they have.
Oh, I appreciate it. All the colors on the inside was actually done by myself.
There you go.
Cool.
Back in the day, I used to. We had it was myself, and we had a couple of helpers back in the day that were coloring basically everything that we did for.
Now, do you digital color? Did you back then? It was probably traditional, right?
No, that was at the very beginning of digital colors.
Okay.
Now the programs that we were using sucked. It was awful. It was like we were using at first, for the first few years, we were using a program called Picture Publisher. And Picture Publisher is like it wants to be Photoshop, but it's not Photoshop.
Right.
It didn't even have layers. I mean, it's like we had to scan.
What is your company name, Bill?
Well, I function as a freelancer now. I own the imprint for Entity Comics, and then Don still owns the imprint for Parody Press. So we'll do projects together here and there and crossover and whatnot.
Is this under Entity and Parody?
Actually, no. This particular campaign is under Committed Comics. Committed Comics is the publisher for Committed. His name is Tom Dodery, and I partnered with Committed because just running these campaigns and running the publishing.
Put that back.
There you
Isn't that Captain Morgan female?
Captain Morgan.
Oh, you know what? Let me point something out. Since AI art has been around for about 8 weeks, the artist I know the artist that put this together, he's actually been a digital artist for the past 25 years or so. I've known him since high school, and this is something that he spent about 2 weeks putting together. So I realized that it has a digital look to it, and when you see it in print, you'll actually be able to see his pencil art underneath all of that digital rendering, which is kind of nice. But it wasn't just an AI. There's no AI art in this book. So everybody's clear.
A couple of things like that on my campaign, but it has that Hillebrand look, painted.
God does.
Yeah, that's his wheelhouse. He does photorealistic, like. That's just his total style. That's why I wanted to have him at least do one variant cover for us, because
I can even see this is kind of ultra real Adam Hughes type stuff.
Yeah. Which that's another cover.
This character with the white hair reminds me of like I had the name. The Spider-Man girl.
Black Cat.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Black Cat. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you mentioned Adam Hughes. That was one of our bucket list items back in the 90s. We actually do have an Adam Hughes Nira X cover back then when we crossed over with Cinder and Immortel Studios. So having Adam Hughes actually have his own take on Nira X too, that's a keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine a lot of people don't even know that that's out there.
Yeah, I know. Every time I mention it, it's always a surprise. So it's like it wasn't the biggest print run in the world. That's when we weren't selling 25 and 30,000 copies of.
What was your
books.
Print run back then?
Back then, in the early '90s, when everything was magic, because there was a section of the '90s that was total magic, and I think the largest print run we had was somewhere between 25 and 30,000, and some books would fluctuate between say 3 and 8,000. It's like it would bounce back and forth. And as the years went on, and shops were closing up, and You know, all of the distributor wars were happening. You know, we used to have probably like 25, less than 30 distributors that would actually pick up our book and put it out in stores. And ever since a couple of distributors went exclusive with Marvel and DC, all those other smaller distributors slowly went out of business, and we ended up with 2. And then we ended up with 1, you know, just the previous catalog, just Diamond.
Creators Outlet says my local comic book shop has Nita X figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
yeah,
he
yeah,
said
Nira
Nita.
X.
I was just reading what he said.
I know.
Oh, it's all good. All good. Yeah, we're typing fast. We're all typing fast.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, that was the first
Pops.
action figure that we did was a Nira
That's
X
Pops.
action figure. And then we did under
Pops.
Rendition Toys, we did some more of the different Cyber Angel characters. We got some action figures out there.
Nice.
See how this
Hey, Pops, how you doing, dude?
Look at how this painting is coming alive. See at the bottom of the screen where the reflection of the water.
It
I
is.
like that. Wow. It's like it's glowing underneath.
Yes, I planned that.
All completely planned out.
Wow.
Well,
If you scroll it down just a tiny bit, you'll actually get a seamless with the water. There you go.
I will not sleep tonight. Is this supposed to be a riff on Captain Morgan?
You know, he's such an advertising, like pop culture kind of guy that who knows, it might be. But the whole idea was her coming out of the water pissed off with a bottle of rum. So I mean, that's
And
it
reminds me of Rumple Mints. You know that liquor. Or like Rumple Mints, where the woman is like on a riding on the back. She's like a barbarian woman on the back of a polar bear. You know, you've seen that image.
I'll try to license this to Captain Morgan later on when we're done with the book.
Right.
Then we got some sketch covers. We actually he's got a sketch cover set, so he's got issues 1 and 2. Because in the first campaign, we sort of forgot to include a sketch cover in the campaign. We had some people asking about it, so issues 1 and 2 are both available on the campaign.
That's the one I'm excited about on my campaign, a blank cover, so I can draw on those.
Yeah.
I love sketch covers. I love having a supply of sketch covers because I get asked all the time, and I like to take them and have other people draw them too.
I'm glad they're popular. I mean, they even had with Action Comics 1000, they had a blank cover.
Yeah.
And that was the #1 Action Comics 1000 I bought multiples of, and that wasn't a cheap book, even the blank cover.
No, it's like, what, $9.99, something like that. $7.99.
Oh yeah, they range in price. I mean, I've seen them like ridiculous, crazy prices down to something that's normal, like like a.
Well, they're a great thing that you can take to a convention too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got the nude version of Nira X Morgan.
Nice.
I don't know.
More natural.
I don't know if I can handle all this nudity.
Oh.
Yeah, Nira X has always been kind of a cheeky, sexy book, and the way that Nira, the way the story goes, she's very self-aware. I think on some kind of subconscious level that she's in a comic book. It's a very self-aware book, and it's just meant to be fun. It's not. It's meant to be an escapist.
Maybe it's her body type, but she kind of reminds me of Eon Flux.
Oh, there you go. I could see that. I'll take that. That cover with the mermaid cover. That's actually a cover by Cat Mouse. That's my daughter's cover.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
She's been working in the industry professionally now for almost 12 years. It's crazy to think that I'm that old.
Jeez, well, she was like, what, 14?
You know what? I think I started ghosting her in at around 14, 15. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because she's 26 now. So
jeez, Lord.
she's doing her own thing. And she's got her own website. She's got Cat Mouse Art if you ever want to look up her artwork and things.
Well,
yeah.
Does Bill have a wrench, Hex? Maybe he could put it in the chat so people can look for it.
Yeah, I can just type in the thing while we're
give
scrolling.
him a wrench, he'll go power mad.
Hold on.
What happened?
Beginning.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, I'll just type it in because I'm in the chat also. So
all right.
The next one coming up is an artist named Tony Moy. And Tony is somebody that Tom knows, and it's really cool piece. I like that when we have a variant artist, whether it's my daughter or whether it's like one of the other dozen or so artists that have done variants. It's like I like that they're doing their own version of the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
I really like to see their style, and I really like to see what it is that they're taking away from it. So very unique take on the character.
Her hair almost looks like Firestorm hair.
Right. It's all watercolor. I really like that watercolor style.
Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Now, what is her kind of jam? What are her powers or her?
You know what? To boilerplate it down, Nira is a mercenary bounty hunter from the future, and she's out looking for adventure, and she plays for sport. You know, she's out to have a good time. Now, she comes from a timeline that doesn't exist anymore. You saw that flat Earth that we just kind of made some jokes about in the trailer.
Yeah.
So all the different
just send her to my house. I show
there
her.
you go. So the scientist that created this problem, this paradox, this temporal paradox, it destroyed her timeline and a bunch of other realities. So he's collapsed and consolidated all of those things that he messed up. He's been trying to put it right, and he's doing it very badly.
So she can't really go back to her own world.
Well, her powers are time travel. She can go back and forth, but she can't go back to that original reality that she comes from. It's already been destroyed. So it's not about traveling.
I think that's kind of an intriguing part of the story, really.
Yeah. So she's trapped in whatever dimension that she's in, and sometimes she does get sucked out of time or sucked out of her dimension against her will, because she does have that power within her for different story reasons that will drag her back and forth. But it isn't the typical time travel learn a lesson story. You know, she's not going to go back to the Old West and learn a lesson about this and then return back to her time. It's not Back to the Future. So it's just a total fun 90s style action. all action, all fun, and all the other Cyber Angels have different variations of her powers. So there's lots of Cyber Angels on this artificial world that was created. It's just a Cyber Angel world, and it's called Oasis.
How did the concept for Nira X ferment in your mind in the early 90s? And the very first thought that I had was, I need to have an extra character in this Zen book. I need to have a mercenary bounty hunter character that's a badass. And the one thing we didn't have, because we had all the other elements that I like out of science fiction. We had our spaceships, we had our monsters. Our lead character was an alien. He's awesome, and he's a ninja. You know, it's almost like a kid playing with action figures at this point. It's just like, oh, what's missing? Hot chick is missing. Yes. You know. Yeah. Hot chick bounty hunter. Is that a riff on the bounty hunters of Star Wars?
I would say so. You know, everything that you see and everything that you like influences what you do. So why? I would never shy away from it and say that this was like this completely original idea that only I came up with bounty hunting. You know, so of course I'm thinking about Boba Fett, and I'm thinking.
We talked westerns. I mean, Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen. I mean, that's you know.
But yeah, we like to play around. Yeah, I like to play around with those genres, and I like to make my own version of those genres and those types of characters. So she started out being a backup character in the book. I didn't realize that people were going to respond to her the way that they did. And so after, I'm not really sure how many issues of Zen that she was in before she actually spun out into her own series.
Tree Goblin says sex alien. I agree. And you're surprised that this secondary character became more popular.
Sex alien, yeah.
Wow, you don't get out much, do you? Single father.
That's what it is. That's what happens.
One day, a girl from space will land on my lap. And
you atrophy at the art board.
Yeah.
Or watching Barney on TV with your daughter.
You know what? I actually did a comic book called Kill Barney for Parody Press. So that took out all my stress. It was I think the cover had Beavis and Butthead basically murdering Barney on the cover.
Good.
Like tearing out his spine and blood everywhere. Don't worry. They forced me to get out of the house. Don't worry. They let me out.
I would rather watch all the cartoons of Godzuki and Scrappy Doo than Barney.
Barney was always Barney Barney is bad. Barney is bad.
terrible.
Yeah, he is. I think that is her leg broke. Her leg looks broke there.
Oh, you talking about
It's
the
just
one
like
on the left?
rare.
Yeah,
The one on the left
The
or
one
the one on the right?
there.
The one on the right?
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, no, she's just posing extra hard. Don't worry, if it's broke, then we got good health insurance for the girls. It's fine.
If it's broke, don't fix it.
You can massage it through, make it better.
Yeah, she's standing on one of those medical pads, so she's fine.
Now, see, designs like this absolutely make nice little statuettes of the characters.
Yeah, that's what those actually are. They're flat acrylic standees that'll.
That's what I was gonna say.
Stand up. Yeah.
Standees, yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a couple available in the first one, in the first campaign, and then this campaign has 2 different characters. And then for issue 3, we'll have 2 more characters and a little diorama, so that way you can actually have them all sitting in a little backdrop that is a story.
Is this story a continuation, or have you done something with Nera? It is
a continuation. Oh, just so you know, Mog Park is also doing sketch covers for.
Yeah, I just noticed this. It's like,
and these are just samples of what they're going to be, just so you know the style. But she's going to be doing Cyber Angel characters on those sketch covers. I think there's only 6 of them available. So yeah, having Mog on the campaign is fantastic. I always really like her stuff a lot.
All over this campaign.
But yeah, the book is a continuation. We started. The first book that we started with, this is think of this as the Committed Comics continuity, if you would. We started with a 300-page book, is kind of omnibus style book, and we started with a new bit of story. And inside that omnibus style book, it's like 300 plus pages. I included all of the original Entity Comics series inside there. Cool. So you got the new Nera X, who's like in this situation. She gets a flashback because she doesn't have memories of who she is. So the flashback is all of the old material inside the book. And then the book ends with a bit of news story with her going, wow, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. And then we go into our first mini-series. So we do have a series and a continuity that we're maintaining over at Committed.
Even though she had her own title, but like you say, she was a backup character in Zen. I guess you included the Zen backup stories in that as well. Probably everything you had, right? How many issues of Nero were there?
Including the Avatar, because we also published Nera X through Avatar Press. So I mean, there's probably 40 some odd issues of Nera X floating around.
Wow,
maybe 50.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories and adventures, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to consolidate all of her timelines and everything into a different space. So I'm not erasing her old continuity. All those things still happen to her,
right?
But all of those timelines have been destroyed, and it's all consolidated into this new place called Oasis.
Did you read Marvel Exiles?
No, I didn't. No,
because this is right kind of up that alley, with alternative timelines and things.
Gotcha. That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons I wanted to consolidate it, is because not only do you write yourself into a corner all the time when it comes to time travel, but at the same time it can get convoluted and it gets confusing for the reader, because it's like, oh, which issue did this happen? This this happens here, this happens here. So in order to keep kind of like the story moving in a 1, 2, 3 pace, a straightforward story, but still have time travel elements, because I love time travel stuff. I love, that whole idea of doing that. I've created this Oasis world for them. So the Oasis world is actually a patchwork of all these different eras that she's already been to, and enemies that she's already fought, and people she's already interacted with. And it's all mixed together in this one place. So it's not her traveling back and forth in time right now. It's her exploring this flat earth, for lack of a better word, right? So you could think of it as a big video game map, if you would, and she's exploring it from one end to the other, trying to get through, trying to figure out what's going on, but also trying to survive all of these different rogues gallery that she's built up over the years. And the fact that she remembers all these people, and they remember her, they're already pissed off at her for even existing, because they already had all these adventures at some point where she took them down. So now she's and then I'm taking all these bad guys and giving them really different spins, which makes it a lot of fun for me. So
again, what are her powers?
she gains. She has a.
What are her
I know, what are her powers?
powers?
She was very close to the experiment. The scientist that created this paradox, this time travel paradox, the scientist created that paradox because he was afraid to die. Okay, and because he was afraid to die, his experiment was designed for him to basically live out each one of his multiversal lives one at a time, which would essentially allow him to live forever. So every time he would die, he would just continue his life in the next reality. But the thing that happened was all of these other different versions of himself from different realities were doing the same experiment at the same time. So instead of him living out his life one at a time and cheating death, all of those different versions of himself merged into one being, which in true 90s style, I call him Paradox, because that's what he is. There's good versions of him also floating around in different realities, and he is so guilty and he feels so bad about this catastrophe, this tragic thing of destroying all these timelines. So these good versions of him are trying to put it right badly. It's like there's only so much sweeping up you can do after you destroy entire timelines. So that's where the creation of this Oasis Cyber Angel world comes into play.
Wow.
Mira,
I mean, does she have superpowers?
I had the preamble. Because this experiment, she was too close to the experiment to not be affected by it. So when this experiment exploded and made him into Paradox, it also gave her temporal powers. And so when just the passage of time kind of forces her to build up energy, and it's all temporal.
Does that mean she can point her finger at you and age you incredibly fast? Or,
no. But she does.
You're talking about the temporal powers, but I'm not really grasping. Is she strong? Is she athletic? Is she gymnastic?
Speed out her fingers.
Right. See
she's sexy.
She's got the power of sexy,
and that's a superpower for women. Always has been.
So the temporal power that's surging inside of her, it does make her stronger. It does make her faster. Not like the Flash,
surging.
Right. It's a situation where she has to siphon off this energy, or else she'll explode. So
and how does she do that?
The cyber skin. You see the leg belt, the leg band that she's got on her.
Right.
That leg band is a technology from her future that doesn't exist anymore. The place where she came from. It contains something called a cyber skin, and the cyber skin has no power of its own. So she's actually powering the cyber skin. She's the battery that powers the cyber skin.
I figured she was a bad girl, and that was an ankle monitor.
Only 20 feet away from the
temporal zone.
Right, exactly. So she uses her cyber skin to basically monitor how much power she has inside of her, and she needs a cyber. Like if she forms a costume, she forms a weapon, she forms everything with the cyber skin. So if she forms a gun, it's her energy from her own body that she's firing through that gun.
Like
she
gives you energy.
Right. So she gives you the gun. It doesn't do anything at all.
But Nera X never crossed over with Zen, right? They never.
Oh yeah, she has. Oh yeah, absolutely. Did? Yeah. Her first appearance was in Zen. Yeah, her first, and she's crossed over with Zen many times. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was in there. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's a lot to ramble through. When you read the story, it makes a lot more sense. I'm a much better writer and a much better artist than I am a public speaker.
I think I really like this. I liked her look. That's why I went back and I come back on eBay and see something like this. And a lot of these books that are lower print, a lot of them seem to wind up in Mile High Comics with Chuck Rosansky.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Ultra rare stuff that there was only a few hundred copies made of,
Right.
And they might have had, like you said, like Adam Hughes or Tim Vigil or some other well-known artists today. But back then it was like you're in the know. You knew Tim Vigil before he was big.
Right.
It was the same thing with Ninja Turtles. I was reading Ninja Turtles for a couple years before the cartoon came out, and they had the Hasbro and went all nuclear.
Yeah.
you got to start somewhere, and often it's with comics, isn't it? But that's kind of looked at as like the promo throwaway stuff. It seems like.
But don't worry, I'll have a source book soon that'll kind of boilerplate narrow it down, so that way it's a lot more understandable. I tend to ramble when I start talking. I'm like streamed of consciousness. I'm just like, she's got this.
I would love
but
to
she's
have
got
the
this. Oh wait, but
omnibus
she's got this.
I'd love to have the collected version of this.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think that 300-page omnibus style book, I think it's actually in the campaign. I'm not really sure, but if it's not, see, Tom organized the whole campaign, so I have to like kind of flip through a little bit. But it is available through the site at committedcomics.com. So if you wanted to pick that up,
now this is through like Kickstarter, right?
This is through Kickstarter, correct?
Are you going to go to any other platforms or have any?
Not right now. I want to start doing Indiegogo also. I just need I know it's a very similar platform. I need to kind of like do a simple campaign on Indiegogo just to go through the steps and figure out
and see what the different options are. I think
Indiegogo exactly. Get a little bit of experience before we start actually doing like a full-fledged campaign on Indiegogo. Hey, Lorenzo. But that's definitely want to use every platform that there is.
Yes, Committed Comics. Yeah. If I was using Committed Comics, it would mean that I'm committing myself to the Nut House.
Yeah, that's their logo. You gotta be crazy. You gotta be crazy to get into independent comics. Their logo is a dude in a straitjacket. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yes, that's me.
I got out of my straitjacket to come here.
Yeah, you gotta be a little crazy to stick with doing your own thing in the comic book industry, because it's very difficult. Right. It's very difficult. You have to wear a lot of hats.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's why it took so long to do it. To be honest, it's a daunting thing. You've got the pencils, you got the inks, you got the colors, you got if you want color, you got the lettering, you got the editing.
Yeah. See, that's the part that I signed up for. It's all the other things now that we live in a different world where you also have to do your own promotion. You also have to network. Right. You also have to print your book. You also have to distribute, and
you have to have an online presence somewhere.
Yeah, it's like I need a team of 10 people, and we're over here doing it with 2 people. So
right.
So it's very.
But you know what? If
you got to do it because you love it.
Like Hanna-Barbera started out that way. Filmation started out that way. I mean, there's so many, entertainment.
It's what it is. Bands and Microsoft, they all started in a garage. So it's how it is. And this, the comic book world imploded a little bit, and now we're picking up into this new space and learning new tricks and learning how to.
That's what I get. Like when and I kind of get irritated at it somewhat. Somebody in the chat, like I said, maybe yesterday, was like going, it may have been Gable Pennyshot. It's like, comics are dying. It's like that kind of upsets me, because I'm like, well, what the are you here for? I know you love comics, but at the same time, I don't want to hear the comics are dying. I have lived long enough, over 50 years collecting comics, and I have seen rises and I have seen falls.
There's going to be, and it's always going to happen. It's always going to be like that, so you just have to ride the tide.
Right before
build a better
got
boat.
really hot, it was in the early 80s. They were dead. They were in a slump, but they came out of that, And one reason was they started shipping on time. Thank you, Jim Shooter. And they got their act together. I mean. When we're riding high, like, oh, Batman 66, comics are all of a sudden popular. They were thinking of canceling Batman right before that show came out.
Yeah.
Cancel Batman.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. Everybody, including myself, would love to jump into something that's already rolling and running smoothly, so I can just sit down and draw my book and not worry about things. But there's just a lot of elements that go into being able to do this for a living, and
absolutely
and keep your fans. And
I
kind of like the way things are happening right now, in the sense that there's no barrier between me and the people that buy my stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to them, you know, instead of listening to like 3 people in between them. You know what I mean?
What, you know, since this campaign, people are like, well, how much money is enough money, Rex? And it's like, are you kidding? I want to make $1 million. I mean, why limit yourself? Why just say, oh, this book can only do X amount of money?
Oh,
Who's
got their eyes on their wallet?
If we
I
can
think
all
everybody's
do
goal
good,
should be to make as much as they
let's
can
do it,
make.
you know?
Yeah, of course.
And
why
this,
you want to
this
limit
image
your
here,
thinking, you know?
this image here is giving me.
And honestly, it's not even from a greed standpoint. It's more from a standpoint. The more money that the book makes, that means the more time I can actually spend on my book, which means the better I can actually make my book, you know, and the better and the more elements I can actually add.
And then when
it.
people are
you know,
in
so
the chat
creative freedom
or
is what we're
wherever they're
purchasing.
at, you know, communicating with you and saying, what about a keychain? Then you can create that. What about a standee? Okay, we can do that. There'll be certain things you have to say, no, we can't do that yet. But certainly throw $1 million at Bill and he'll create any damn thing you want. Just give me 50,000 and I'll create anything you want. Okay. As long as it's not made out of gold, platinum, or silver. And we might even do some of that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if he's going to stick with the 500 backer thing.
Oh,
but at the end of the campaign, the plan is to give away the original 11x17 inked artwork for the action cover.
Can you dig him, Hex, or are you kind of like?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at him.
Yeah, you're all good, all good.
Where are you? Okay, here.
So the 500 backers was the goal. We'll see what Tom decides at the end of the campaign, because I would still like Tom to give this away to one lucky backer. And and it's not just the physical backers. So if you back the campaign, if you just get the PDF, your number is still going to get thrown into the randomizer for a winner to be picked out.
You look very young for your age.
Yeah.
If you've been into comics.
Well, I don't get out much. I don't.
Well, that's true, right?
I sleep a lot.
Ultraviolet rays. That's right.
They're like a beetle.
It's the red shirt. It kind of.
Well, now, I think you said you had an ancestor or something lived to be 103 or maybe.
Oh yeah. That was my grandfather. Yeah, my grandfather in Puerto Rico. He's lived to be 103.
Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, it's like so Tom will be giving this out at the end of the campaign. We'll see how many backers we end up with at the very end of the day. But yeah, like I said, even if it's just a PDF, jump in. And if you haven't read the book before, if you haven't tried it out before, you never heard of the character before, at least the PDF is just a couple bucks, and you can find out what it's about, see if you like it, and you might win, something that's actually kind of expensive. So
is it even viable that Zen, she might cross over with Zen anymore at some future point?
Oh, there's always plans. I've been working with Steve and Steve Stern and Dan Cody are the co-creators of Zen, and they currently publish Zen with First Comix. And I've been working with Steve this whole time. I've been working with Steve for the last 30 years. So we're actually launching.
Zen was First Comix. I thought they had went out a long time ago, and Mike Barron said, no, they're still around. They just don't publish that much.
Right. Yeah. And they came back in force. And next month we're actually doing a brand new Zen series. It's a 4-issue miniseries called Zen Bounty Wars. And Nira X is also going to be one of the characters in this book. So she is crossing over with Zen starting next month. So, which is nice. It's kind of a full circle thing for us. So we've been working together for so long. It's nice for us to have that.
Zen
space.
kind of, I'm sure it was a slow start, but he always seemed to be a fairly popular niche, if you will. I mean, for those that are in the know, like I said,
he's had toys. He's had video games. He's had an Archie run. Zen's been doing a lot of things. They actually did have the option to do a live action movie at one point, which actually funded our studio for about 8 years, which is amazing. Wow. There's always studios, there's live action things and animation things that are always interested. But you realize when it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to those studios, the planets really have to line up completely in order for. There's so many projects that you'll never know how many projects are actually just kind of not in purgatory, but just in standby. You know, it's like there's so many. It takes a lot. It's a lot of moving parts.
Decades.
Era
it
X
does.
almost
It does.
reminds me of like what if stories. You know.
Yeah. That's me drawing what I feel like drawing that month and writing a story around that.
You don't have to buy all the floppies because there was a bunch of floppies and there's a bunch of the trade paperbacks, but get you an issue or two of the first trade paperbacks that had Blink. That was, you know, in that one X-Men movie.
Sure.
Exiles, I think you would really jive on, you know, because they might go over to medieval times and have medieval Spider-Man, you know, they go to like dystopian futures, and I mean they're just all over the place.
And that's how I write my book. I really wanted to do something with zombies and pirates this time out, so I wrote the miniseries based around those elements. So that way the girls can have this adventure with those elements in mind, you know. So
that's what I liked about Farscape and Voyager in Star Trek is that it was sent way out, away from the Romulans, away from the Klingons, and you didn't have to write any of that stuff. You could invent all new stuff because you're way out on the edge of space where man's never been before. And at that point, it's a blank slate. A storyteller can still tell whatever story he wants.
Exactly.
I love that.
It just makes it fun. I mean, that's the takeaway from the whole Miramax series is that it's just a fun escapist,
like you said.
Book,
you know, you got a broad palette that you can use.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't have any, and it makes it fun. So I think people pick up on the energy when you make something, whether or not you did it because you had to, or whether or not you were just having a lot of fun.
You want to make it easy on yourself as a writer. Get outside the Milky Way, or just out of our own galaxy, away from Jupiter and Mars and all that we know, and go somewhere where it's all totally new. You know, that makes it easy.
Just like in Nephilim Squadron.
Go visit that water plant that's 3 times the size of Earth.
It's like you said, you know, when you deal with time travel, and I deal with time travel in Devil Flyer, it's but I have a good reason for why everything happens. You know, it's like, you know, and just coming up with that reason story-wise, that thing that makes sense.
Right.
It's not that easy. You really have to think about it. Now, you can do it willy-nilly, but I think a lot of readers would call foul on you, you know.
Right.
They want that underpinning a story of why is this happening. They don't always have to have it. And I don't think you as a writer have to write it in. I don't think
having that plausible thing that kind of kickstarts.
Well, you don't want to take the mystery out of everything.
Right. You don't want to explain the heck out of you don't want to explain it to death, and then there's nothing left nothing left to discover.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think
it takes a while. It takes hours of sitting down and coming up and writing that stuff down, which is probably why when I'm asked for boilerplates of certain elements of the book, I tend to ramble, because this is something I usually sit down for hours and kind of map out. And then, but if I'm asked out of the top of my head, I'm just like, I forgot how to talk. It's like, read the book, you'll find out.
Read my book. Read
my book.
Speaking of my book, we were talking about outside influences. I have this clip that made me realize there's a subconscious influence behind Nephilim Squadron. Check this out.
Step this go. Right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nera X, Nah,
Exactly.
nah. Buy my book. Nah, nah, nah,
You're gonna jump
buy it
into the
now.
hole in the wall and slide down to one of the lions.
Yes.
Yeah,
Freaking
yeah.
Voltron.
What are some of your
UFOs
influences,
started
Bill?
everything.
You know, artists that you liked, especially starting out like in the early '90s. Yeah,
All
where
right, yeah,
color
dig into
ability
some
kind of
personal.
comes from.
You know what? When I first started drawing, I want to say that, and this is before I was really buying Spider-Man books or like. Because I remember one of my first Spider-Man books, and I still have it. Is like the Spider-Man Beast team up. It was such a
Yeah.
cool
Wow, yeah.
comic book. Yeah, I love freaking team ups like that. But even before that, I would say that the thing that made me want to draw sequential art, which is what set me on this path, was art by Tom Severin, by, by John Severin. Sorry, I know him so well. I said his name wrong. So yeah, John Severin. He drew parodies for Crack Magazine.
Yeah,
And,
he did. Yeah.
and the parodies that he drew just happened to be, and his style just really stuck with me. But the parodies that he was drawing were all TV shows that I was watching at the time, which helped it stick even more. He was doing parodies of Star Trek, The Fall Guy, Knight Rider, A-Team. You know,
Yeah.
he's doing. So that's that put that parody bug in me, but more importantly, it put the desire to draw sequential art. Now I wanted to draw strips that actually told a story. I wanted to tell jokes. I wanted to tell, you know, something that actually happened. You know, you can actually read a couple pages of it and see what happened. So that was probably my earliest influence as an artist, as far as something that actually hit me and made me want to do something. I've actually got a piece of original John Severin art up on my wall. I was able to grab it off the old eBay.
Yeah, I always found him to be rather unique in that arena because his style was more realistic. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like somewhere it was realistic, but he treated it cartoony, but it was still kind of like realistic. And the way that he drew certain things, like it's a weird to pick out certain things from people's art style, but the way he would draw the bottom of shoes, like because he always had people like falling or people like tripping over things, so their legs are always like way up in the air. You know, so he got like long pants with like these shoes, like these freaking I'm going to a lawyer's office shoes. But there's something about it that was hilarious to me, and I always wanted to. So it's like you always take away something from every artist that you really like Art Adams with the way that he does his hatching and the way that he creates a texture across something by hatching it differently, or just like different ways that he inks. Adam Hughes has. I never draw realistic, but there is so much that I learned from his art when I try to apply it to my own art. So my stuff never looks like any of the artists that I love, but there's things that you learn by reverse engineering some of the tricks that they do so well, you know, and you can apply it to your stuff.
Right.
And then of course, as a kid, I mean, if you want me to keep going, as a kid, I always used to like to draw what I would see at the movie theater. So like when I first saw Star Wars as a kid, you know, back in '78, you know, the first thing I did when I got home is I started drawing droids. I started drawing land speeders. I started drawing.
Wow.
I always like to draw the stuff that I saw at the movie theater. I always like to whatever I saw on TV that I thought was really cool. Like I would draw the Knight Rider, but I would draw him as a monster truck. You know, there's something about like mixing things up that I always really enjoyed doing that.
Parody,
you know?
You want to run us through the tiers here? One question I'd like to ask is how many covers? Because a lot of people on Kickstarter like a lot of variant covers, and I know you have a blank cover. How many covers is on this campaign? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I do not, but I think there's 5.
Yeah, I think if you go down to the bottom here, or near the bottom, there's
that Near X Captain Morgan cover, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's a special one. That's the one that you take to the pub.
Oh, absolutely. Get some pub customers. Look, she's a Captain Morgan girl. It's Near X. Go to the website and buy it today. Yeah.
It's Captain Nera X.
Captain Near X. She loves her rum.
Yeah. Nice. So would that be the retailer regular bundle with all the Got Reborn 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's got a special bundle just for retailers, which is always cool. That anytime you could find a way to actually include the shops into the campaign, that's a good thing.
Right.
You were asking about the covers, Rex. I'm sorry.
Covers, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 5 or 6 different covers, especially because there's nude versions of just about all of them. The one cover, the all-out action cover, doesn't have a tier unto itself, but it is available as a nude cover in the add-on store. Because that's something that I was after we actually set up the entire campaign, I was getting asked whether or not that cover did have a nude version, because I do have fans that they specifically want the nude versions, and it's just like, well, I need to create one then. I need to make one. So it's there, and it's but it's in the add-on store though. So whatever and everything that you see pretty much is available in the add-on store. So whichever cover or tier you decide to pick, you can still mix and match and pick out what you like. So that way, just in case there's not a combination of things.
The nude attack pirate is pretty popular here. 23 backers on that one.
That is splendid. Wow. You can make like a Near X rum and put that on the rum bottle.
Man, it's like I'm halfway thinking that now. With all these Captain Morgan jokes, I'm just
Near
like
X rum. Charge like $50 a pop.
Yeah, Cyber Angel XXX rum. Like how much proof is that?
460 proof.
All that you need.
69 proof.
69 proof, yeah.
There's the cat mouse variant cover, and there's also, like I said, there's a nude version of all the different covers. So that's Cat's version of Nira X. She knows that Nira X is going to appear as a mermaid at some point in the story. So she loves mermaids. She loves mermaids and dragons and creatures with scales and stuff like that. So she loved the idea that she was able to do a Nira X mermaid variant cover. So I was all for that. Came out so nice.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll scroll down. Let's see over here, kind of up and down a little bit. There's a Nira X enamel pin.
Enamel pin. Wow.
Yeah. Not every day we have an enamel pin. There's a sketch cover. The 2 sketch covers that are available. Like I said, we didn't have a sketch cover for number 1. That's usually something that we always include. So what he did was he made it a sketch cover set that includes issues 1 and 2 as sketch covers. So that way, anybody who is asking for a sketch cover. The next one is the all out action cover, which is my all out action cover.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Dynamic.
And then I see that he has listed the nude variants are coming up next.
Oh, nice.
And then there's we did a pillow. See, there's that double-sided pillowcase.
Oh, yeah.
That's just meant to calm nerves. You want to just feel comforted.
The black box cover.
It's not working.
Calm down.
So that's a regular size pillow. He still has a couple of the full body length pillows that we had in the first campaign, and the full length body pillow is one side of it is her drawn artwork by me. It's drawn as in complete pirate outfit on one side and then nude on the back side. You have to flip it over. So the standee set, that's what we talked about before with the little standees, and they stand about I don't know, it's like 6 or 8 inches tall, something like that. They'll stand up right on your desk.
Oh, it's good size. Yeah.
Yeah, the manufacturer is.
That's what she said.
That joke was built in for that.
Right. It's built for me.
Oh god.
So yeah, the acrylic standees are always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we have the infamous mouse pads, the 3D mouse pads. We did a couple for the Near X Reborn series, and we ended up selling a lot more of them after the campaign was over. So everybody saw what they looked like and what they were and stuff. So I was just like, all right, we'll do a Mercy one for this time. We'll make it a butt pad this time.
Looks comfortable.
Seems like Near X loves to do squats. The way she's developed there.
Yeah, she's all about fitness.
Very muscly buttocks. Yeah.
Yeah, she's all about eating right and fitness and
absolutely.
Yes. Don't let that
calorie
get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No carpal tunnel. It's like it's a medical device. It's like you want to give it to somebody who draws or is on the computer a lot. So
yeah,
it helps out.
Yeah.
Then we do have a Tony Moy metal variant cover, which I'm just like metal variant. That's so cool. So and doing it with his cover. So I'm just like that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing that. And then underneath that, there's some sketch tiers. We have some commission and some sketch tiers that you can read through. It's just it just is what it is. There's a couple tiers that are specifically safe for work, and there's a tier that is specifically not safe for work.
Yeah.
And a couple different sizes. There's a 7x10 size, and there's the full 11x17 size.
That'd be great for someone who works at a corporation in an office. You buy the not safe for work ones and you pass them around the office, hoping that he would get fired. So,
with the hopes and dreams that they would let him go.
Yes, do comics full time and struggle.
Please release me. Release me.
From this
but here's a cool parting gift before I go.
Right.
So if you want to give the office, so
some
I'm sure
controversy that people to talk about the water cooler. You see this guy bringing in the not for safe work cover near X? Oh, he's going to get fired. But he's prepared.
Yeah, he'll say it was all worth it.
I'm prepared for retirement at an early age.
Yeah.
Cool. And then underneath the retail thing, we have another commission tier, and and then there's Mog Park's sketch cover tier, which is 160. Now the images, like I mentioned before, the images that you see there are just sample images. That's just to let people know what the style is going to look like.
How much involvement did you have with building this campaign? I mean, input.
I have lots of input, but I'm not the person who builds it. Tom does all the building.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So he runs the store. I run the fantasy world, and he runs the store. He runs the real world.
That'd be great to have somebody like that.
Yeah. I could have somebody.
Yeah, Mog's artwork is so nice. And something I learned later on was that she was actually like an art director on Game of Thrones from like season 4 onward. Yeah. She's very, very.
Where did you pick her up at? How did she meet up with Mog Park?
I met Mog through Tom. Actually, the first time I met her was at San Diego Comic-Con a little while back. Okay. Actually, at Tom's booth, at the Committed Comics booth.
Wow, how lucky is that? That's something else.
Yeah, it's really cool to learn like the different things that people are involved in, Yeah. And then we have another commission sketch tier. This one's in color.
Yes.
I like doing the color pieces.
Now you can get this as maybe a set with all the other covers, or
yeah, I mean you can mix and match. That's a nice thing about having everything available in the add-on store. So if there's a specific cover that you wanted, you could pick the cover tier, and then when the pop-up window comes on with the with all the things you can add on, you can add all those specific items on as you would like to.
What are you reading right now, Bill?
Oh, I'm looking over on my iPad. I'm scrolling ahead of you. I'm actually on the campaign page, and I'm just scrolling.
Well,
I'm scrolling like one spot ahead of you.
Reading in comics now?
Oh, what am I personally reading in comics now?
Reading. Yes.
Yeah, your pleasure reading.
For the past 3 months, nothing. But I will let you know the next time I'm on what new thing I'm going to start reading.
That's like when you're in campaign mode. You really don't have a.
Oh, there's no time. Yeah,
I mean, they asked me that question last night on Mad Roots, and I was like, really nothing, because I'm working to complete my own book,
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I've been
out to read.
Yeah, a lot of things I've been collecting have been like maybe some art books and maybe some trades and hardcover books of books that I've already read from a long time ago, but I like to have them collected up in something nice for the bookshelf, instead of breaking out the floppies. So,
oh gosh, right.
So I like to keep my books in the comic book box in as good a condition as I could keep them. So it's nice when I see a hardcover come out from something that I already have, and I'm just like, oh cool, something I can actually flip through. Oh, coffee table book, yeah.
I know Indiegogo, they ran Aztec Ace that was published from Eclipse, and I was excited to see that, and I've been waiting on it a couple years. Someone I don't know if they're starting to fulfill that. I'm hoping to get my copy here pretty soon.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's like, how long does this reprint have to take? You know, I don't even know if it's really being fulfilled. You know, I think it was under review. I don't know if there were legal problems or if they just decided to take the money and run or
that's not good.
They weren't like updating, and I'm like, this is just mainstream reprint stuff at this point. What's the holdup? You know, because I really like the material. Again, sort of a Indiana Jones time traveler.
Right.
Yeah, that was I remember reading that, came out in '83, and that's where I first read the word doppelganger. I'd never seen the word doppelganger.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know I didn't know the meaning of it. What's this word doppelganger?
It's never spelt the way you think it is. What is that?
Well, we never use that on the farm, you know?
No.
A doppelganger of the cow to produce.
This cow has a doppelganger.
Well, nowadays, maybe in the
beef.
cloning.
That's where you get the chocolate milk. It's from the doppelganger.
Yes,
doppelganger cow.
Everyone chocolate. Doppelganger cow.
I don't know what farm you're from.
I'm part of that time travel farm.
That Petridge farm, remember?
Yes, Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, and I think there's only one other tier underneath where you're at right now. I think that last one is probably the not safe for work color commission.
Take into your job.
Where do you go from
straight
here,
to the
Bill?
job?
Where do you go from here? What have you not produced yet that you would like to produce?
You mean like in life, in comics, like the kind of things I would like to work on? Is that what you're asking?
That, I think so. And then just like, okay, you're doing standees, you're doing, is there something you'd personally like to see that you haven't produced on a campaign come to life?
I say no now, but then Tom comes to me with another idea, and I'm just like, oh, that would be cool to have, something I didn't think of before. I didn't think we'd have those 3D mouse pads because I couldn't find a manufacturer that makes them, and then if I did find them, they were too expensive to really offer them as an item that you can actually. I'd have to charge a mint for us to make a nickel on them.
I just have a really good idea for you. You should team up with that Mike Lindell from My Pillow, develop a Nerex full pillow kind of thing with Nerex printed on it. That you would sell like hotcakes.
I don't know, man. The My Pillow guys, he has enough problems in his life. I don't know if I want to hook up with him.
Exclusive MyPillow.com. The
pillow is just I don't want to turn the pillow into an actual business.
Right.
I think if we're talking nude versions and stuff and pillows, maybe socks.
Maybe socks. There is one of our fans, supporters, and I dare say friends. He suggested that we do. Remember those pens that you would get that if you turn them upside down, like the little the clothing would come off the model, kind of
absolutely.
Like. Yep. So he was thinking about doing those, and I'm like, you know what, we're gonna look for a manufacturer. I asked Tom about it, and Tom's like, I know a guy. I know a guy. So maybe issue 3 we'll have those crazy pens. I remember those back in the day.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, absolutely. I've got some pens.
That would be fun to have. That that'd be kind of a funny little.
That would be so cool. I'm surprised there's not one of those Funko Pop Nerex. Are there any Funko Pop?
There was on one of our campaigns. There was an artist that makes custom Funko Pop figures, and he actually packages them they're one-offs. And I think they're like $100 items, $150 items. But he makes them, he sculpts them, puts them in a box. They look like legit Funko Pop figures. And there's some other figure ideas that we have, actual mass production figure ideas that we're starting to do our research on and making sure that we have manufacturers lined up for when we get to that point. So, because I would love to see some more action figures. I would love to see some more minifigs. I would love to see some more, manga anime style statues of Nira X and maybe some of the other Cyber Angels. So there's things that I'm twisting everybody's arm for. And when we get to that point, it's like those are definitely things that are on the wish list.
Are you a manga fan?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Kind of an old school manga fan because I'm more the things that I grew up on are like, Akira, Robotech, Bubblegum Crisis.
Speaking of Akira, that guy, one of the co-creators of Akira passed away at 68.
I heard,
Toriyama. He's the creator of Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Cat actually told me about that yesterday. Yeah. And 68, man, that's too young to go. I felt bad about that.
It is.
Dude.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a loss, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's anime and manga influences my art almost as much as American comics influence my art. I think and a lot of my cartoons before I used to run off to school was basically Robotech and Voltron and I dare say Thundercats.
We are a product of our time, aren't we?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean it's like nature, nurture, and that whole argument. It's like those are the things that was available to me and that I was surrounded by. So yeah, they always have. You're influenced by what's around you. So
I have a feeling that Speed Racer is actually it's kind of manga like. Was like my first.
Oh yeah. Speed Racer is definitely. Oh, you know what? Remember Transor Z or Mazinga? Yes. That was huge when I was a kid. That was huge for me when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. I and Apex were old enough that when it was called Japanimation, I guess. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you had Speed Racer. You had Marine Boy. You had King Kong.
Kimba. The lion.
Yeah, Kimba, the lion. Although I think that was for me probably on PBS or maybe cable, which we didn't get. It was the big three.
I wasn't allowed to have cable. Oh, you think we're rich?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, we just didn't live. We lived out in the country, only 6 miles out in the country, but that was enough to. Not have cable out there.
But you know what? My mom was a real. She's a Puerto Rican Bible thumper. Okay. And there were cartoons I wasn't allowed to watch if she knew that I was watching them. I couldn't watch Thundercats with her in the room. Every time Mum Ra would pop up on screen, she's like, "That's the devil." That's not something sweet. That's not of God. We can't do that.
Egyptian shit is
she would go off, and it's like, oh man, I have to turn it off. It's like it's almost like I was doing crack in the living room watching porn or something. It was bad news.
And so now he's producing comics with nudie versions.
Yeah, well, I was drawing the nudie stuff even back then. It was just, it was always there. It's just, I just had to hide it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But my mother found it, and
she was good at finding stuff. She was good.
Yeah, she was. And I'm like,
where would he hide stuff?
What are you doing going through?
Where's his secret stash?
You live under my roof.
I was like graduating. I was graduating high school, getting into college by the time we actually had cable. That's
yeah.
I saw the Cannonball Run on HBO at a friend's house, and I thought I was getting away with murder. Okay. I was like, dude, it's like I got to watch this. This is awesome. Nobody knows except my friends.
Chaos and his friends.
Yeah, I was at a friend's house when he had cable. We were watching Death Wish, and I was what?
Oh, dude.
10 years old.
Death Wish. So right up there with movies like what is it, Sudden Impact and like all those action movies.
You're going to hell.
You saw The Running Man. What? Oh man.
Oh, I forgot our Saturday morning cartoon clip that's going to get.
Get that Saturday morning. Really? Oh no.
I don't know why you want to push.
We're going way back.
Stop it. Stop.
Wait.
No.
Wait, 15 more seconds.
Okay. All right.
He just can't resist.
Wait,
I love
you gotta
cartoons,
see what
but not this much.
The glove's not having it anymore.
Yay! Oh God! A talking hand.
A talking condom.
Condom? What is that thing?
There's a prequel to Stovetop Stuffing.
No, I was thinking Hamburger Helper, but it has.
Oh, dude, that's what I was. Yeah, there you go.
Hamburger Helper, but yeah.
All right, I better quit now.
You better quit.
5, 4,
You shouldn't even
3,
really
2.
started, but anyway. Oh my God.
Oh well.
He knows I love cartoons, but not enough to get struck off.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what do they? Does YouTube think I'm gonna make money off of that?
That would never happen. I know. I like that he
cartoon's
fights
like
the
90 years old.
politics
He's
of
gonna
it.
get struck.
It's like, I'm justified. No, you play by their rules. You own nothing, not even your own channel.
No rules.
Just like that.
Rules.
Oh man.
Oh, what does Carrie say? I almost read crotcheted. Crochet.
Like a moving sketch.
Crotcheted.
Knowing Carrie, she might have really said that.
I crocheted my dad a boob as a keychain. I hide a DM. Oh, I don't hide it. We have similar humor.
Nice. That's cool.
That's good. It's good.
Oh. Yes, all the color has been drained out of me.
Because he's the album cover of the that's the artsiest background. It's like you need to keep that. That's your signature look from now on. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. I think I will. But no one else is using it anymore.
No,
if all four of us had it, then it'd be like, oh, when are they dropping the album?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's Meet the Beatles time.
What is your musical jam, Bill? What
Everything,
do you like,
dude. I'm eclectic, dude. I'm so eclectic. Yeah. I'll listen to 70s music for a minute. I'll go straight into classical music for a minute, and then I'll go straight into some Kumo D for a minute, and then I'll go straight into some Puerto Rican music for a minute. It's like I'm very eclectic with my taste. Right now, I'm listening to Tizia. It's Meg Myers' new album. Okay. So it's like, so I listen to a little bit of everything.
Don't get all up in the Tizia.
I know, right? That was tailor-made for that joke.
Oh my God. I am a dad. I am
suffering.
Well, you've earned the right then. That's fine.
Earn it.
Ooh, black and white cam with a green lightsaber. Oh
yeah, interesting.
See
how that works.
Is this your first campaign?
Oh,
no. We've had a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work too well.
No green on the lightsaber. Oh, it'd just be a black and white lightsaber.
Oh, it looks like a blade at this point. That's cool.
Does. Wow.
Yeah, got a katana back there. Yeah.
I know, it's like David Lynch presents Star Wars.
I would watch that for David Lynch on Star Wars. They make it pretty cool.
What was that? That animated Star Wars? It was a show that they came out with. It's got a few different short cartoons, different styles.
Like Star Wars animated special.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a couple that were really, really cool. Like the one was like really
the new
manga stuff, real anime style.
Yeah, Visions or something like
Visions, yeah. So some of those were pretty dope. The rest of them were still okay. They're still good to watch, but it's like
they kind of did that with one of the Batman projects too. Where,
they made it look like it took place in like feudal Japan or something.
Yeah.
Or it was anime style. They had different styling.
Yeah.
Ninja Batman, right? I think it was like
Ninja Batman. Yeah. Ninja Scroll, but Batman.
Well, they did the same thing with Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yep.
Remember Ronin or something?
Ronin, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing out the campaign, and you're actually sharing out my my webpage too. I appreciate that, dude.
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah.
It's always glad to
Well, you were our
out.
featured guest, so we felt obliged.
We're on like a 1 month hiatus. We had to come back strong with a
It's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
we
big
have to
guest
sell.
here.
And it was all due
Devil
to
Flyer.
a cartoon.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Boo. See. And,
Yeah, we rotate this between us, Bill. I'll host 1 week, Hex will host a couple weeks later, and then Apex a couple weeks later. We do it every other week.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So within 6 weeks, we all host it on our channels.
and
Gotcha.
lest we,
That's
Yeah, I
cool.
picked up a couple backers last night. 45 backers
Excellent.
now.
Nice.
Over
In
2,500.
the last 30
Yeah.
days, 25 days to go.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
counting.
proud.
So
proud.
good. Yeah.
Proud of cousin Rex.
Feels great.
Unlike Bill's Kickstarter, it's all kind of about the books and not the tchotchkes. Although we have a tapestry and we have a standee. There's
Right. Yeah, I like the little extras, but it's all about the books. I mean, if I could produce my issues and collect them up into hardcovers, I mean, those are the things that I really look forward to is having
right.
good
I
presentation
want
on
a
the books.
whole shelf full of stuff that I produce. That will make me happy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my drug is when I, especially when we were actually publishing monthly. And we were, being distributed through Diamond and getting in the comic shops. That was my drug, was just seeing anything that I did at all that was actually on the shelf made me feel like I was contributing. Made me feel like I was a part of things.
Yeah,
and that was that's super important.
I'll show you here in a minute, Carrie. Yeah, we put up a digital tier, although I put it up late. Like after we were in the campaign for a week or two. Kind of push the physical media.
Oh yeah,
that's a new character, Midnight, that I'm excited about. And,
that's cool. Who colored that for you?
Yeah, and then we have kind of what people are calling like medieval Spawn. You got all armored up Spawn up there, and then, Devil Flyer. There's the tapestry. This is bystander, sort of my cosmic watcher type character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc Blaylock.
After Doc Blaylock tapestry there, and we got the original acrylic painting to that as well. There's modern day Mummy. It's not just about one character; it's about the birth of a new universe to replace the DC and Marvel universe and all those universes that are.
I love this.
It's my take on.
Yeah.
It's my take on a universe, So a lot of characters that need to be developed and whatnot. And Devil Flyer is kind of the linchpin of that. And we got 14 characters on that one cover. And we have a Golden Age cover done by John. Absolutely. When you said time travel, I was like, my ear flaps went up because I said you'll love Devil Flyer because it's not just overly laden with time travel, but there's definitely time travel involved in the whole thing. Basically, character makes a Faustian deal. He's not a free agent. Is he good? Is he bad? I don't want to take all the mystery out of it. I love people that's like, well, can you tell us his origin? No. After 6 issues, I'll tell you his origin. I said, where do I go after the main arc? I'll tell his origin because by then people will know who Devil Flyer is a little bit and be intrigued, and they'll want to know his origin by that point. I think sometimes they go to the origin story too quickly. They kind of kill all the mystery out of the character. I don't think they should have ever told Wolverine's origin. It was better not knowing if he fought in the Civil War or how old was he,
I
like leaving something
not
in the
to know.
mystery. Yeah,
it's weird.
I think the Weapon X story with Barry Windsor Smith was enough.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right.
You could
connect the dots yourself a little bit. Yeah.
Throughout the years,
speaking of that,
writers.
Hey, we're getting to the topic. Weapon X. There.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, here we go.
Whoosh.
See, doing stuff like that just
Oh,
never
yeah.
interests
That's
me.
right.
I love comics.
Through the
Mhm.
ages.
The Beast is my favorite character, but I never sat around drawing the Beast. I wanted to draw my own characters.
Nice.
That's just me. I'm probably odd in that. Everybody gets a free 6 a.m. sticker. We have unlocked the trading card, and we have the if you'll go down, Hex, the Rob Ewing zigzag magnet.
Nice.
There's my content page. I love that content page that I had John do. I said I want an old typewriter with a hutch with a drink and the stuff sitting around it, so I can reuse that as a content page and just put here. I use it for the credits, but then I'll use it for my content page.
Sure.
Rob did me a couple pieces of Devil Flyer art. Where is it? Oh, right here. If you want to see it, he drew these on or finished one and started another one on my stream. Sent me this artwork the other day. This is kind of based off the Tank Ferret thing that I wanted made into a standee. Nice pieces.
That's
He's
cool.
also working with Timothy Olsen on Melvin right now.
Very cool.
And here's the acrylic painting that's done. That's being made into the tapestry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. Awesome.
Yeah, Bog was going to be my, seminal character to launch off with, but I created Devil Flyer after him and got with a friend and said, "Would you do a project?" He was like, "Yeah." And then I took 8 months pitching him other ideas. He was like, "No." And I'm sitting around. It's like, I want to get something started in crowdfunding, and there was one project he said yes to, and that was Devil Flyer. So that's kind of how it turned out to be, and we're doing a black and white hardback edition with this. So doing a little stretching. We last year I released a Devil Flyer ash can. Been in the works for a few years.
Oh, I like that one. Like a pewter statue.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And let's say hello to friend Dan Plagle. Hello, friend.
Hey, Dan.
Hello, friend.
He just had surgery.
Hello, friends.
He was good enough to have me on his channel before he went into surgery.
I hope it went well.
Yeah, seems to be.
Get well, Dan.
Yeah.
And
pure oxygen against cancer. Oxygen does kill it, by the way. But doctors are not going to tell you.
Yeah, pH neutral, right?
Yeah.
Have to keep that body in balance.
We're not doctors, just to make sure.
No, we're not. But
we don't.
I'm a doctor of.
The stream doesn't get taken down there.
Right.
Even doctors just have a license to practice.
Yes.
I'm in a slump here trying to stay conscious in the hospital bed listening to. Oh, you're trying to stay awake. Don't listen to us.
Stay awake. Oh,
right.
We put you to sleep.
You're growing sleepy.
Dan's getting sleepy. But yeah, buy Goblin Girl, Dan Plagle.
Yes,
check it out on. I guess it's still on Indiegogo. Yeah.
Yes. He's a great artist. He did one of my covers for Nephilim Squadron.
I want Dan Plagle to draw me a Femback cover. Once he gets better, I'll ask him.
Yeah, congratulations. On going over to Fund My Comic Hex for the second chance, the last chance campaign. That's awesome. Caught me by surprise with that one. And and Hex Allen does not need a Dan Plagle cover. He has a Dan Plagle cover.
He does. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he did it out of the kindness of his heart. I didn't even ask for it.
Oh, that's great.
That's the best kind of
it is. It does
contribution.
Oh, Carrie wanted to see what I was working on. I'm working on one of the head sketches that everybody gets for free. If they back the book, they get a 6x9 head sketch of a character.
This is
cool.
Who is that? Who is it?
I don't have a name.
Of course,
it's actually It's actually a character that is. This is the first time really that I've drawn him sort of as a humanoid, because usually it's like an energized plant that goes up against Bog, and I thought, well, it'd be cool if I put him in humanoid form.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've drawn him in like a humanoid.
It's almost like a cactus guy.
Like a cactus, yeah. He does have a cactus look, yeah.
Well, it looks like
if cactuses were red.
Red cactus.
We're approaching the 2-hour mark, I think.
Yes, we are.
Woohoo!
We should skedaddle on out of here and
Scrabattle? Yes, over on John.
Scrabattle?
John Diller.
Scrabattle. That's a different show, and it's a good one.
Yeah, okay.
Wednesday.
I'm getting confused.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, and I want to thank Bill MAUS again for
Absolutely, Bill.
taking the time.
Yeah, no, thanks, dude. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me and let me hang out with you for a little while.
And Bill, we do over on Apex's After Dark on Saturdays, on some Saturdays.
I've got a birthday stream next Saturday if you want to come on, Bill. It's 8 p.m.
8
Saturday.
p.m.?
That's Central Time.
That's a possibility. I do a live stream on Saturdays at 10, so I should be able to. I should be able to maybe.
If you want to drop on by, it'll promote you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, please send me a note so that way I don't have something to write on.
I co-host with Apex, and then I do a daily show on YouTube. So you're absolutely invited to come over on my channel as well. Different channels, different crowds.
Gotcha. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Bill?
You can find me at billmouse.com. That's where I've got links to all my socials there. I'm more active on. Yeah, I'm more active on my Facebook page than anywhere else.
That's sad.
I know, right?
That's just old man.
That's just, I know, right? But that's just where the interaction just happens to be. And I'm present everywhere else too. But yeah, billmouse.com. You should be able to find everything else that we're doing. And then tonight, Saturdays, I usually do a live stream, do some drawing, maybe auction off some art, and that's at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Ooh, speaking of auctions, I mentioned it. We need to have an auction in the springtime.
Yeah,
I had an idea. I'm going to host on the 23rd of March, but Hex is going on. I think a Comic Con somewhere in March. Are you promoting it? Whatever, Hex.
23rd.
I'm thinking maybe
that's the last. WonderCon is the last weekend of March, so that's 29th, 30th, 31st.
I was thinking sometime in maybe late April, you're probably hosting next on HEX APEX. Maybe we can have an auction or something. I'm just throwing this idea around.
Yeah, no. Let me. Yeah, just keep me in the loop.
Definitely, we'll invite you, Bill. We'll definitely invite you. If you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to pin down my friend
and keep me in the loop
because 40 years. To come on his birthday in a couple weeks on my channel. LG Super Collector. I mean, he's got things like oil painting by Jack Kirby, production artwork, rare one-of-a-kind items.
That's cool. Yeah, if you guys would just toss me a note and just let me know what's going on. I know that a lot of the time I might say no, I won't be able to show up, but that doesn't mean don't keep me in the loop because when I can show up, I will. This month and next month, leading into the summer, the schedule is kind of crazy because I'm doing this Nira campaign right now, and then we're actually jumping right into a Zen Intergalactic Ninja campaign right after. So it's like the schedule's kind of, and I'm actually creating the Kickstarter page for first.
I wish more. So it's a lot of time. More creators would get it in their central cortex, though, that this is part of the game. You have to go out there and promote your book, or don't expect me to buy it.
Well, if people don't see you, they don't
feel
know
like you're
you're
talking
there.
to me.
Right. People don't see
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm just saying, I wish we didn't have to. I wish we could be schlubs and sit back and just do our art. But it does not happen like that. And the people that do that,
you buy his album,
they don't
and you leave
sell
that man
many
alone.
books, folks.
That's true.
You got to get out there in front of the public.
Yeah.
I'm working on the book.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Preach it.
Oh yeah. No, nobody ever said it's easy. So I appreciate, because there's a lot of times that I just can't get out from the table to do other things and promote or
I
Last
hear you.
question
online,
out
so-
of me, Bill.
Yeah.
What's the? Let's see. Golly, last question. I was thinking.
I'm stumped.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Wait for it.
Wait for
Rex,
it.
Coming back
Rex
to me
with a
now.
Rex with the loss of words.
What's the best advice you can give somebody that wants to do what you're doing?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and
Anybody who
steady.
hits real hard, real fast, usually burns out just as fast.
Yeah.
Don't expect everything all at once.
Even with success, right? I mean, success has ruined many a
especially
person.
especially with success. I mean, think about some of the artists that you've seen. There's no reason to name names, but
Right.
just imagine an artist that you've seen that popped up out of nowhere and got super popular. They were on their book for a minute, and now where are they?
Now you can't find
Like
them with the
you
FBI.
kind of don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes if you burn too bright, you kind of burn out, and it's easy to burn out. But just keep on doing what you love. Follow your gut. Don't expect
That's why I'm
everything
so
all at
worried
once.
about Hex.
It takes
He's going to
time.
blow up big time, and then he won't even want to talk to us.
Well, I got a long fuse.
Having a long fuse is good.
That's what she said.
No. But yeah, I'll stick with slow and steady wins the race, because I've been swimming in the small press for 30 years, and I've had friends that have jumped into larger boats, and they work for larger companies, and a lot of the times things work out, and sometimes they don't.
Well,
in the
indie stuff, like Jim Starlin, he started out with fanzines. Rob Lim, the same way. Obscure indie stuff that not even after they made it, people even know they did. But it was a slow build-up. They didn't just hit stardom. There's very few artists that do, and then when they do, can they handle it?
Yeah, it's a lot. And then turning your passion, which is your art, right, and your storytelling, turning your passion into a job, it takes a certain kind of mentality, a certain kind of mindset to not lose your love for the art when you turn it into a job. Because when it becomes a job, now people are kind of like forcing a schedule on you. They're forcing, you have to monetize your time.
The best comic writers, the best comic artists, the best comic inkers, the best comic colorists, you name it. The best comic editors are fans of the material, period.
Yeah,
right.
They started out as kids, and they had the wonderment. They love comics.
Exactly. And after 30 years, I'll let you know as soon as I get discovered. As soon as I hit the big time, I'll let you guys know.
Oh, appreciate it.
I've been happier being a street level artist of the people all these years than if I had hit it big and then
graffiti doesn't count, Bill. You can't count it. Stop vandalism.
I got paid to do that.
I bet you did.
Yeah, Quentin White.
How much did she give you, huh?
Right?
Hot dog off the street.
I'll never tell.
I'll never
hey,
tell.
$20 or
Charge
$20.
You, Bill,
Man.
I like you already. How come you did that?
Well, let's roll on out of here with this video
that wonderful
the beginning
footage. Yes.
Right.
The beginning of
Why
this video.
the title, Bill?
Who the what?
The C title.
Oh, I just thought it looked cool.
Oh,
I got this whole zombie pirate thing going on, so I figured it's like make it look cool. Yeah.
But this video gives me a major case of hydrothalassophobia.
That's it. Yeah.
Spell that.
It's a water video on a water background.
Oh, I'm so scared.
It's already made me moist. You don't need all the overkill. By Bill MAUS. He did not do the book on Auschwitz, by the way.
No, I was not drawn by Art Spiegelman. In case you want
the depressing Art Spiegelman. So
Flatters.
depressing. So utterly depressing, that book.
Oh, that had a quantum leap feel to it with the clouds.
There you go. And now Sam Beckett can take Mira X home.
Sliders. Remember sliders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sliders, yeah.
So you
I know,
can
right?
fight
Stop bobbing.
monsters. You can fight monsters, historical characters, anything you want with this premise, can't you?
Yeah, that's what I like about it is I like to kind of cater the story around what do I really feel like drawing this month. This is about me having fun, and I think that translates to the people reading the book. And I think like the fans that pick up the book, they're just like, this is just a fun book. This is us having a good time.
I'm just wondering what social platforms you are on. You said BillMaus.com is linked up to all of them. What platforms are you currently using?
I'm kind of on all of them. Bill Maus
Okay.
Art. If you do a Google search, one word, Bill Maus Art, you'll see a bunch of links and images come up. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all the regular. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter.
X.
So I'm in all the places.
Have you had any problems with the nudity about censorship, or I mean, you gotta cover that.
I'll only put the nudity on platforms that fully accept it. Like X fully accepts it, so every once in a while I might put some stuff on there. I have a Patreon page.
X, yes.
I know, right? Yeah, I do have a Patreon page at Club Corrupt. That's one word.
Earth is real.
So that Club Corrupt is where I put all my my adults artwork, and it's like a $5 tier or whatever, and I've got another Patreon at Bill Maus Art that I just started. It's like a $3 thing. It just helps us keep pens in the studio, fresh paper and pens in the studio. A couple bucks here and there. So
I imagine you're very proud of your daughter since she kind of followed in your footsteps.
Yeah, she's amazing, but not because she's following into the art field. I've actually tried to push her away from it because I wanted to be sure that she's doing it because she loves it and not because I'm doing it. But every time she's tried to get away from it, it drags her back in. You know what I mean? And she's had a couple of day jobs where as soon as they found out that she was an artist, they had her doing art stuff there. So she's like, I can't get away from it. It's like, I just want to have a day job where I don't give a crap. Just pay me and do my hours. But no, she has a real love for the medium. She paints, she oil paints, she does murals, she does comic book work.
One last question for Hex, since we're wrapping this up. When's the album coming out?
Yes. Hex
It'll drop when it's good and ready.
It'll drop on.
It's still
dropping on Spotify.
We're making tracks.
Apple
I feel
Music.
like we're looking at Seal here.
It's Seal.
Batman song.
Yeah, we'll drop the single next month. It'll be fun. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, dude. It was good to hang out with you guys.
Coming on, Bill. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Hope we can get you on Apex After Dark or my channel or on Hex's channel.
Yeah, just keep on shooting. Like if I'll always respond to your messages. By the way, it's not like I won't respond, but if I can't show up to a show, that doesn't mean I'm not interested. Right. That just means I'm juggling 20 pies.
That's true.
or I'm extremely late with my pages, and my publisher is going to beat me up. So,
do you still sit around with your daughter and watch a movie?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll watch movies. We play video games. I raised her on PlayStation. I mean, it's like we got things that we like to do, just hang out and stuff. And she's great. She's
you lucky son of
a she makes me look like I did a much better job than I actually did. So good kid.
It's not easy being a single parent.
No, I highly do not recommend it. For anybody thinking of parenting. I got on Yelp. Do not recommend. 1 star.
Well,
But she's
another one in the
fantastic.
can,
Yeah.
guys.
Another one
Yeah.
can. Like, subscribe, ring bell for notifications. The next show, what is this? I believe it's on
My channel
23rd
on the 23rd on Elsie's birthday.
and then
Oh,
mine
so
will
many
be in early
birthdays.
April. So
So,
yeah,
people, if I missed your birthday in the past few weeks or so, happy birthday. I'm sorry.
You know
So many
what people
birthdays
are doing in the
people.
fall and the winter when they're birthed
Right.
in March. Yeah.
okay. We'll see you guys later
Yes.
in the next video or next live
Oh,
stream. Ciao
yes,
for
and
now.
Ciao.
We'll see you
oh
guys.
yeah, and Apex, I'll be working on your start working on your
Oh,
trailer
thank
this
you.
weekend.
I appreciate it.
Ooh,
Wow.
All right,
Fembat
nice.
trailer.
Thank you.
We doing
Yeah.
a new Fembat trailer?
I got to
Okay.
send you
Yeah.
some more images.
Right on. All right, and yes, don't forget the Nephilim Squadron. The preview is on
Yeah.
on my
Yes.
comic.
Buy my book. Buy my book. I need pizza.
And it's ready to deliver to you right away.
Bye, Nera X. Everybody.
See y'all
See ya.
later, chat.
Last chance.